Let's fucking go.
Welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review episode 4 of The Penguin. Now, this episode 4 of The Penguin, is a flashback episode. It kind of starts off at the end of episode 3, where Sofia, Falcone, and Oz were working together. They were trying to get this drug, the Bliss drug, sold in Gotham. They were making moves. They were blackmailing members of the family. They were working together, and they were starting to reconnect because it's said multiple times throughout the course of the episodes, from episode 1 till 3, that Sofia and Oswald Cobblepot and Oz have history. They have history together. He was her driver for quite some time. They had a relationship. So they have a relationship, and they have a connection to one another. Now, obviously, it ended and it was strained after she got thrown in Arkham for the murder of 7 young women, the murder and hanging of seven young women. But upon her getting out, it's become abundantly clear that they do have history. They were once something close to friends, and after whatever happened, and she went to Arkham, their relationship became strained. Obviously, your relationship would become pretty strained when we found out in last week's episode, in episode 3, that one of the reasons, if not the reason, she went to Arkham was because Oz kind of snitched on her. He snitched on her. He dropped the He sold her out. He sold her out to get a little bit of money, to get a nice position, to get his name in Carmine Falcone's on Carmine's radar, to show loyalty to the family, and so he sold her out. Now, last week's episode, he was also talking, the way they broke it down, it wasn't as bad. It seemed like they were moving past it. But just as they began to move past it, or at least she began to let him move past it, it was revealed that, as we already know, he's playing her. He's playing her. He's taking advantage of her. He's taking advantage of the idea, because while he stole the idea from her brother, the idea of this game-changing drug, he didn't actually know what the game-changing drug was. He actually didn't know the plan. She does. So he needs her to create this game-changing drug that will catapult him to wherever he wants to go. Or at the very least, it will catapult him to become a much bigger member in the family than he is now. And he was using her for that reason. And of course, as we know, he's working with two different. He was working with a rival family at the same time, and that shit came back to bite him in the ass. But Victor. But look, fortunately for him, Victor showed up, saved his ass, and we went on and everything went on, progressed forward. But unfortunately for him, Sofia now knows that he's a snake. Sofia now knows that that she has no one, that he's the one who murdered her brother. She knows it all now. So now the story truly begins. But before we get to the real meat and potatoes of the overall story, we get a flashback episode. Most of this episode, if not, I'd say this episode is about an hour and 5 minutes. And I'd say about 58 minutes of it, probably about 58 to 57 minutes of it, are all flashback. So we go back, I believe, 10 years, because Sofia was in Arkham for 10 years. We go back 10 years prior, 10 years, and we see a different version of Sofia. The Sofia we have now is constantly making people nervous and whatnot, and there is this kind of aura the actress is giving off, where she's got this unsettling look in her eyes, this unsettling tick to her, where you're just like, I'm not quite sure what, because you heard the rumors about her. She's the Hangman. She killed people. She got this nickname, the Hangman, and you're like, is it real or is it not? And that's something they play with throughout the course of the show. Is she real or is she not? And we find out in episode 3, at least, the reveal is she actually didn't kill all those people, and she actually was kind of harmless at one point anyways. But events goes down. So we follow Sofia 10 years prior to her going to Arkham, and she's living her life. We find out that her mother committed suicide, and it really traumatized her because she found her mother's dead body, and it really traumatized her. It really had an impact on her. But life moves on, and we see glimpses of the relationship her and Oswald have, where they are familiar with one another. They really are decently close. Though I don't know if they were so close that for all that emotional shit, but you know, we only got like the day before shit went south. Because she's living her life, and it's pretty clear that, by the way, they recast Carmine Falcone, which would be a deal, but I don't think it's a deal because I highly doubt we'll ever need to see him again. He's dead in the current time, and quite frankly, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm about 98% sure Sofia's going to be dead by the end of this show. So we'll never need to have a flashback to Falcone's again after this show. So the recasting with Mark Strong is like, okay, whatever. We'll never need to fucking recast. Well, we'll never need to come back to this character again, so whatevs. But either way, he's recast, and it's made abundantly clear that she was his favorite child. And he's talking about giving her the business, because he's like, I can't trust your brother. I think I'm gonna give you the family business. He's like, you know what? Screw tradition. I'm gonna give you the family business. But the problem I have is it is very unclear how much of the family business she knows. And I only say that because when stuff starts to go south, her reaction to it doesn't seem proportionate to someone who's in the game. Like, the way she's acting is as if she's innocent. But she couldn't be that innocent if she knows what her father's really up to and what her father's really doing. So, if she knows how her father really made all his money, which I'm going to assume she doesn't. Like, my assumption is that. But I'm like, then what were you going to give her the family business? What exactly was she going to do? Was she not going to, was you going to give her a crash course in the shit that you've been doing on the side? It's just her reaction when stuff starts going south. You know what? I'll come back around to that. I'll just get into what happens next. So a reporter approaches her and asks her to talk about, you know, these deaths that are happening at the club, at the Iceberg Lounge. And she knows nothing about this. She doesn't know what's going on. She has no clue that these women are dying, and all these women are dying exactly the same way that her mother died. And in fact, when the reporter comes to her with pictures and shows her this, it's made abundantly clear that, no, these aren't women who committed suicide because they have defensive wounds. I mean, they have cracked nails, and clearly they've been scratching and blood, and they clearly were trying to fight off whoever killed them. And then she remembers, my mom had the same thing on her. She clearly tried to fight off whoever was trying to kill her. And it becomes abundantly clear that the thing that they're obviously pointing to, now they don't come out and say it, but it feels pretty abundant, is that Carmine Falcone had a thing for beating and hanging women. It's clearly what they're pushing for, because she talks to her father about it, and her father's saying the whole, oh, she was kind of crazy, she had mental illness thing. Now the whole mental illness to explain someone's behavior so that you can take advantage of it, like, that whole thing has been in, like, the Batman mythos for quite some time. In fact, if I recall, in different versions of the Batman, Wayne's mythos is like, you know, their father saying that someone's crazy so they can throw him in an asylum. So, you know, they can throw him away in an asylum without having to do anything. You know, oh, they're crazy. And the father did the same thing to her. Once she started asking questions, once she started being nosy, once she started getting too close to anything that might have been real, he immediately went to you haven't been yourself. I think you might be going a little crazy. And immediately, all of a sudden, the cops show up to her door. They arrest her for the murder of these women. They say she's crazy. Like, that shit is quick. Now, it's clear that the father decided, okay, the daughter, she's asking too many questions. She's not a good soldier. I gotta get rid of her. And he decided to pin all those murders on her and send her to Arkham Asylum. Which, another thing, I have a very, very, very hard time. Like, granted, I get it. It's corruption, right? It's corruption. It's supposed to show the corruption of Gotham. It's supposed to show how much power Carmine Falcone had at this point in time, that he could just push the judges. He could push the lawyers. he could push everything so hard for everyone to just go, she's crazy, throw her in Gotham, keep her in there for years. A 5-day stint went for, I mean, he's so crazy. He's got the people bought in Gotham. I mean, in Arkham. He's got the people bought in Arkham to have her kill someone or have someone die in front of her and blame it on her so she can stay longer. Like, I get it. That entire sequence was to show his power. But for the love of God, who in the hell would believe that a 100-pound, soaking wet girl could strangle and hang 7 women? How? With who? Like, that don't even make any sense. Like, come on, man. You expect somebody to believe a 100-pound soaking wet girl strangled and hanged 7 women. Well, so 100-pound soaking wet girl with no history of that shit. Now, granted, like I said, it was used to really show off just how much power he has in Gotham, because he can just push something through that's so insanely stupid. Like, no one would in a million years would believe that. But in my brain, the entire time I was watching, I was like, what? Who the fuck would believe that? How could that even be believable? But I digress. But most of the episode is really centered on them breaking her down. And once they get her in there, they start shocking her head. They start doing like shock therapy on her. And it's the story. And this whole episode is really about how they show how she went from this innocent girl to a killer. She had to kill people to stay alive in prison. So she went from this innocent girl to a killer, and she's broken even more when her own family is threatening to get rid of her again or kill her again. So that's the bulk of the episode, but it ends beautifully with her killing her entire fucking family, or at least the family in Gotham, and which, once again, was kind of like, wait, is that easy? The whole time. It was as easy as you just, like, filling the house full of deadly gas. It was that easy. Wow. Well, shit. I mean, I get it, though. Like, the idea is she didn't want to go that far until she was pushed to go that far. But now that she's pushed to go that far, she's like, I guess this is what I'm doing. I guess I'm going to have to go all the way. But it was still kind of like, because there was so much buildup about the whole Falcones versus the other family, and, you know, Oz feeling like he can get them to destroy each other and trying to play them off each other, and for her to just off the whole family. And someone said this in another video, that it actually kind of changes the, like, direction of the show, because I was pretty much expecting it to be a little cat and mouse, like, outmaneuvering, trying to maneuver, like, all parties trying to maneuver each other until at least the last 2 episodes. But I think we got 4 more episodes left, and one of the families are already gone. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. Now, this was a great episode, as the Penguin Show has been so far. It's another solid 9, just like last week's episode. I loved it. Had a great time with this, man. Okay, maybe not 9, man. 8.5. 8.5, because there are some logical things that I'm just like, yo, come the fuck on. The Hangman thing just made me laugh a little bit. I'm just like, who the fuck's gonna believe that? Come on. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Conquer Move Show. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.